What's going on, folks? Your boy again, Dr. Sean Thomas, back in the building. Be More Today Show, episode number 94. We are back. We are back in the building. And folks, 94 episodes. We keep pushing. We keep moving. Be More Today Show has continued to grow. Now heard in 56 countries, 18,000 downloads. I thank you all for your support and your love. It does not go unnoticed. I promise you, we will be more today together. And I appreciate your support for me and this journey with my book, with our music, with our swag store. Our swag store is open for our sweatshirts and our hoodies and our hats, whatever else. Go on our website, bemoreToday.com, and check us out. We are growing, we are expanding, and doing more things to keep you always on the move. My quote for today is very simple, as always. What is often called exceptional ability is nothing more than persistent endeavor. Persistent endeavor. This has been a time for us, 2022. Now we're in the springtime. There are so many things happening around the world, right? From wars to crazy things happening in our cities. I live in Brooklyn, so there's just so many things happening around us. But even though there's so much happening around us, it is important that we stay committed to being great. And, distractions are going to be around us all the time. There are going to be things that can thwart our progress, divert us from being great in our professional abilities, our physical abilities, etc. But I do think that there is an exceptional ability for us just to be persistent, to not give up, to keep pushing forward, even though the odds are against us, even though sometimes it doesn't feel like you want to do anything, even when it's raining outside in the month of April every single day, so it seems. Our ability to be persistent does always tend to favor greatness. And I think that the great thing about us as human beings is that we can all be great, no matter who you are, where you're from, nationality, all those things. As a human race, we have the ability to be resilient and to be exceptional and to be persistent in all that we do. And I've met so many people who have been persistent in their endeavors, who have gone through journeys like I have in terms of failures and failing forward, and just continue not just to go against all odds, but to just supersede those odds and then set trends for other people to follow. And my guest on today's show is no different than that. He is a good friend of mine, a former coworker of mine, a former basketball teammate of mine, and he is none other than Dr. Eugene Israilov. And he is, as many may not know, let me introduce you, at Rehab Fitness or Vital Rehab. He is the Vital Rehab and Performance Physical Therapy in Nassau County. Dr. Eugene has developed a comprehensive one-on-one PT service that centers around his clientele on a personal level. Now, every treatment plan is focused on building trust and connecting with his clients by valuing their time. This proven philosophy has helped thousands of his clients reach their goals faster and get back to doing the things that they love. In addition, Dr. Eugene has an extreme passion for biomechanics and enhancement of movement patterns to achieve optimal function. His comprehensive evaluation skills have allowed him to develop customized programs to heal damaged tissue, strengthen and educate on proper preventative techniques. Now, Eugene enjoys being active by lifting weights, playing basketball, as I know. He has a nasty jump shot and a handle, I gotta say, yeah, and going on hikes with his wife. He believes everyone is an athlete within their own body. And as the founder of Vital Rehab and Performance Physical Therapy, Dr. Eugene's passion is to educate as many people as he can to live a better life pain-free. Tomorrow is not given, so let's be more vital today. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, pets included, please welcome to the stage my friend, my former colleague, my teammate, my guy, Dr. Eugene. Dr. Eugene, what's going on, homie?
Dr. Sean, pleasure. Always a pleasure being here with you.
Listen, we have an extensive history from downstate together, clearly to playing basketball together, winning championships. You know how we do back in the day.
Those good times.
Those are good times. And then, of course, being colleagues for a PT company in Brooklyn, and then you branched off and have been doing so many great things. So I had to have you on the show just to really give you your flowers in advance and to give you kudos and to let you know that I'm proud of you. I'm proud of your work. I was honored to be, I guess, at your wedding, and just seeing everything you've done from raising the family, building your family, and now building your practice. I just gotta say kudos to you. You are what Be More Today is all about.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
So listen, let's get into it. I know you have a number of certifications, right? I was reading your bio. I know you were a personal trainer before you became a PT. You're also a clinical athlete weightlifting coach and a functional range conditioning mobility specialist. So
Yes.
with all these things that you have now under your tool belt, you've gone out and you become a practice owner. I'm curious, as I ask everyone on the show who is in this endeavor, as I continue to border on the line of taking this jump myself. What sparked your journey to be a practice founder?
Well, when I was a clinician working for a fast-paced company that was very volume-driven, it something bothered me by the fact that the value that we as uh, physical therapists, the value is it's not um, it's not given to our clientele because of the fact that um, they push all these clients on us, all these patients, and it's fast paced, it's volume driven, and it bothered me because we have we are the musculoskeletal providers that can prevent clients from taking pain medication, relying on injections, going into surgery. We have an immense skill that unfortunately is not it's not it's often overlooked because of the system that's put on us. And when COVID came, I had a lot of time on my hands, and I started to the brain started to think. It started to really to doubt if this is really what I wanted to do long term. So then I decided, you know what, I'm gonna take the plunge. I'm going to open up my own practice. I'm going to do what I want to do because I think that is more valuable for my clientele, and not only valuable, but also it's gonna just fulfill my passion as a clinician. And that's it was tough. It's not easy to open up a practice because you're essentially starting from ground zero, right? And you have to build. You have to build your name. You have to build your company. You have to build you have to build you have to build trust in the community, in your clients. But I was confident in my skills that was what I wanted to do.
And that's great. I've had a number of people on the show who have also taken that plunge already, and some who've been, wary too. But based on what I've seen, on social media and just talking to you in general, it seems like it was the right step to do. And now, as I look at your site, I mean, you're talking about Vital Rehab as being one of the premier providers of PT in Nassau County. Talk to us about Vital Rehab and Performance Physical Therapy and what makes it so special right now in your location.
Yeah. So what I did, I opened up an office in a gym setting. So it's a physical therapy office, and what I do is I blend fitness and rehab. Right. So what I've noticed is clients who when I blend the fitness and rehab aspect, um, clients not only get better quicker, but their lifestyle changes. And by lifestyle change, I mean I prevent them from relying on taking pain meds when they feel there's some discomfort. And and it doesn't have to be necessarily the area that we're treating. It could be other ailments. And we don't only so that is what we do is we also spend one-on-one with them, right? So it's strictly 60 minutes with them the entire time, and they get an immense amount of information, that is very valuable, that a lot of medical professionals today just frankly don't have the time. When when a patient goes to see a practitioner, whether it's a pain management doctor or an orthopedic, they spend what, maybe 20 minutes with them. They don't, they're still clueless in essentially what's happening to them. Why is it happening? How did this happen? Um, what we do is we spend the time, we educate them, we explain to them what's happening, we explain to them how to prevent it from happening again. And biomechanics in the human body is very important. Because if you think about it, everything that we do during the day is biomechanically involved. The way you stand, the way you walk, the way you go up and down the steps, the way you run, it's very important. And we educate people on that. So that is why I chose to do this type of model where it's why is it valuable? Because I give you my time, and time is valuable.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, time is valuable. We say a number of things about time and time being precious and time being money. But like you said, sometimes in our system, time is not money. Time is something that we just kind of just give because we're selfish in terms of giving our time to our clients. And we can be so much more effective and efficient if we actually gave more time. And I like the fact that you're combining fitness and PT together. I think for such a long time they've been so separated, so insular. But to be honest, what we really do is educating, showing people how to do certain things, and then giving them the tools that they need to go out there and be more fit on their own. But when you actually have the time to combine those things, to show people how to do certain things on their own with your guidance, of course, I think it makes the whole rehab process and experience more beneficial and even more enjoyable, because now you're talking about really teaching somebody how to do something as opposed to just showing them and giving them a couple of tips, and hopefully on their own they can kind of get it down the line. But you're actually showing them, step by step with that one-on-one time to see what they can really, really do. And I'm sure you've seen more improvements with that model than with previous models you probably experienced in the past.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And we don't only get people better and get rid of their pain, but we get them back to enjoying the things that they love to do, whether it's playing with their grandchildren or gardening, or going for walks with their spouses. Those are things that we essentially hone in on, because I try not to talk about of that word pain with a lot of my clients, because everybody perceives pain differently. Why is it happening? How is it happening? How can we get you back to living the life you want again, without relying on these pain pills or these injections, because essentially that's not the root cause of the problem, right? We want to figure out the root cause. Once we figure that out, you're going to live a much better, healthier lifestyle. And unfortunately, a lot of and I'm sure you as a practitioner, you hear this all the time. When a patient comes to you, what is the first thing that they do? They say, "Oh, I went to see my pain management, or I went to go see my orthopedic first." Well, we should be the first line that they go see when it comes to pain. If it's a musculoskeletal condition, they should come see us instead of going to see an orthopedic, instead of going to see a pain management, because they're going to go down the wrong path. They're going to go get an MRI, and it's going to scare them. It's going to instill fear on them. They're going to go see pain management, and they're going to get pain pills, but that is not the solution.
Yeah, it's funny. I think that for such a long time, when we first got into this profession, I guess you and I are the same in terms of time frame. The progression of PT in general has been so interesting because for such a long time, there was no respect on our names, right? It was like people didn't really know what we were doing. It was chiropractors, MDs clearly, and pain management. And you had your other specialties in there as well when it comes to personal training and massage therapy. But when it came to PT, there was no real respect for that because people didn't know about it. It is still a very new-ish profession in the greater scheme of the other ones that have been out there for the longest time. But I do think now with, like you mentioned, things like direct access and people being able to really see us as the premier providers of PT, they should be coming to us first. They really should be coming to us for the initial assessments and diagnoses and whatever, just to make sure that they can get a better scope of practice. Now, there's certain things that are outside of our scope, right? If someone has a fracture, we can't do anything about that. You got to wear a cast, you have to get an x-ray, those kind of things. But like you said, for things that are biomechanically sound, when it comes to musculoskeletal issues, that's us. And I actually had a friend, not even a friend, my wife had a coworker who got hurt literally during on a Tuesday. And he asked, is there an urgent care for physical therapy? And she was like, I don't know. Let me call Sean. So she called me. I'm like, no, there's no urgent care for PT. Just tell him to come see us. We can see what's going on. If it's something that is like a strain or whatever else, I'm sure we can just kind of see what's going on and give him a pathway to get better. And I got him in for an evaluation, and literally he was so happy because instead of going to the ER or instead of waiting for an appointment for a couple weeks to go see an MD, he was able to see a PT the same day and felt so much better after that first session because it was something that was musculoskeletal, something that we do handle, something that was not warranting a MRI or an X-ray or something like that. It was in our scope of practice. So I think that the more people know about what we do and how we do, and having places like your place and others that are popping up around the world, it will give people a better understanding of, oh, PT may be the first option for me to go to if I have this issue or that issue. Let me make sure I call somebody like Dr. Eugene, Dr. Sean, or Dr. Joe that I had on last week, and get in to see them for an evaluation because it's something that's within their scope of practice. I do think it's about us really putting PT on a pedestal and letting people know we're the specialists. This is
Right.
what we do. And I think the more that we do that and you do that and others who are branching out there and being trendsetters, it will make a bigger name for us in the future.
Right. Definitely. I agree. And there's actually a statistic out there that it shows 94% of patients that go to see a pain management orthopedic don't get referred to PT. That's a huge percentage of people, 94%. So that is exactly who I'm targeting, the 94%. Why aren't they getting referrals to PT? They're wasting time, right? Time is valuable, right? They're getting older. They don't understand what is going on with their body, and it's just getting worse, right? Because if you don't correct the root cause, it's going to lead to it's going to be a domino effect. That knee issue is going to become a hip issue. It's going to become a low back issue, right? So they should come to PT if it's strictly a musculoskeletal, if it's strictly a biomechanical issue, and with and treating them one-on-one, they can get better quicker, right? By understanding, right? By educating them, right? And they will also prevent them from going to see multiple doctors, right? So also it's also time, right? A lot of it goes back to time.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of time, I've had a number of clinicians and even MDs on the show talk about the healthcare system, and as great as it is, right? 'Cause we do have everything that's here. There are still some challenges that we face as clinicians, practitioners, et cetera, in the healthcare system, recognizing that, like you said, time is money. And there are a number of places that continue to have to see high volume in order to make the ends meet, to pay the bills and whatnot, right? Depending on insurance reimbursements and depending on what area you live in, zip code, et cetera. How are you, right, in your clinic now with Vital Rehab and Performance PT, dealing with these challenges, right? How are you providing this one-on-one experience that we talked about in this ever-changing and demanding system where requiring volume seems to be the trend? How are you able to give a one-on-one experience in this environment?
Yeah, great question. So the reason why I chose to open up in a gym setting was because of the overhead is low. So the my rent is not as expensive as a brick and mortar. For example, my biggest overhead. Um, by the way, I don't have any affiliations with doctors. I get majority of my clientele based comes from marketing. So my biggest overhead is online marketing, Facebook ads, Google ads, a lot of word of mouth. Also, I do incentives for clients that refer patients to me. I get some patients from the gym. My biggest overhead is online marketing. But that's the key, I think, as a business owner, and that is something that I had to learn over time, how to manage my overhead. Um, so that is the key. The biggest also setting specific rates to make sure that it covers my expenses. Watching how much am I spending on certain marketing tactics. So small things like that.
That's great. I think I've mentioned on the show before that, as clinicians and anyone who's been in the healthcare system, we learn how to do our trade, right? We learn how to do all the special tests and the manual techniques and all those things. We learn those from day one until our exam ends. And we talk about insurances a little bit, right? But when it comes to actually running a business or even a clinic or a company, those small things are not shared. And there are so many clinicians throughout the healthcare system who do jump into private practice or jump into their own brick and mortar or hybrid like you're doing, and they don't know what they're doing. Like they run into so many issues, they run into so many problems, financial problems, uh, booking problems, billing problems, etc. And they find out things the hard way. But I appreciate the fact that you, like you said, you took some time to really learn the craft and to do the research to figure out the best method that will be successful for your clientele and for your clinic. What is, I think, my next question for you is, what's the most challenging part now that you're changing hats and you're clinician still, but you're known now as a practice owner, right? What's the biggest challenge for you right now at this stage in your journey?
The biggest challenge I would say is to maintain is to continue to not plateau and to just continue to build and maintain a good revenue as a um, as a as a business owner. That's essentially what puts the food on the table for my family, right? So and there's been months where I've taken a loss. There's been months where I've had major gains. But that it's I'm still growing. That's part of being a business owner. There's going to be times where you feel like this can't work. Especially the first time I opened, I started to question, wow, is this really going to work? But I just just like when you started the show, perseverance. I kept pushing. I kept saying this is going to work. I maintained a positive outlook. Um, because I knew that um, this is what people need, and they will invest in their health, um, especially because pain is not something that people can live with. It's difficult, um, So I think that's the biggest challenge, just maintaining a positive in the income stream.
Eugene, you're giving me a lot of inspiration right now. I think the journey for many who are in this same boat is somewhat daunting, and I've had many people on the show talk about their journeys into private practice, as a PT and otherwise, and just how daunting it can be in the beginning, but how rewarding it can be when it's done right. and it sounds like you're doing the things that should be done the right way. You know, I've checked out your site and seen a number of your videos on social media, and I love the content you're putting out there, and I love the fact that you are doing what you wanted to do. I remember working with you back in the day, and we had conversations a number of times about structures and whatever else that was going on, and your vision for how things should be, and focusing really on biomechanics and form and posture and lifting and whatnot. And you're really doing that now with your clientele. So I gotta say kudos to you. And I'm curious now, you are not just by yourself, you actually have an acupuncturist also on site. So you're not just doing things in terms of PT, you're actually incorporating other health care professionals into the same realm of a very holistic practice. Talk to us about that relationship between you and your acupuncturist and how you guys are working together to enhance mobility and function.
Yeah, definitely. In the state of New York, physical therapists, for whatever reason, I am not sure, are not allowed dry needling. And dry needling, I think, is a great implementation into musculoskeletal, figuring out what's wrong with the body, figuring out how to release certain trigger points. So that is how I blend my acupuncturist. She's able to treat some of my clientele who have those trigger point tightnesses that my hands can't release, or if somebody has like that aching back pain, and also a lot of it is also mindset. If a person believes that acupuncture will work, why not give that service? If a person feels like physical therapy would work, why not give that service? I would gladly also add chiropractor into my practice down the line. A lot of it is mindset. But I like the blending of the multiple disciplinary approaches. I think it's vital.
Yeah, I agree. As I contemplate my own exploits in the future, I do like blending various people into the same system, because why not? I mean, there's so many people that can benefit from all of us. And I do think that sometimes there is some, I don't want to use the word competition, but there's a number of different things that we have in terms of um, things that are true and not true, taboo, if you will, when it comes to, well, that's not going to work for you, but it may work for me. And everyone's different. There are certain things, like you said, acupuncturists can do in terms of reducing tension that our hands physically just cannot do. So why not try that and add that into your patient's clientele or your patient treatment protocol and enhance their entire treatment plan by giving them as many things in your tusha that you can. So, I think that's great. I think a lot of us should try to mimic those models in the future as healthcare continues to change and it becomes even more challenging for us to give clients the care that they need. I think anything is better than us relying on medications to mitigate pain. So
Right.
acupuncture, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Eugene, I had a question for you. One of your things is form. I remember one of the things that you really focused on when you were working with us was form and the importance of posture. And I know you're a weightlifting coach, and a number of people, and I blame social media for this. There are a number of people who watch social media and start doing whatever they see. I've seen people literally doing the craziest things, listening to the craziest things on social media. I actually just saw somebody on social media the other day they were on a squat rack, like at the top of the squat rack, like the squat rack bar was like under their arms, and they were up there, propped up there, and in their hand they had
Oh,
a
I saw
recumbent
that
bike. Right.
video.
He's riding a bike while on the actual squat rack. And he's
And
doing
probably got
a
really.
number of other videos like that. People are just doing crazy things when it comes to form and technique. And even if you go to the gym now, you see people just doing a number of things that are not really sound in terms of proper biomechanics. And I'm just curious if you had any tips for those who are going now back to the gym or they're still working out from home, um, about ways to ensure that what they're doing form wise and weightlifting wise is smart and effective. Given all the things that people are seeing out there on social media and on YouTube, whatever, what are some tips you can get to people who are trying to get into weightlifting or are lifting weights now, but may not know or might not know the proper form to take and do for most exercises?
So the best thing that I can say is keep it simple but effective. A lot of people go to the gym and they spend hours in the gym, 2, 3 hours, 4 or 5 days a week, completely unnecessary. Um, Learning how to be an effective weightlifter can have an immense impact on your lifestyle. A lot of people go to the gym and they want to do all of these crazy exercises that look cool, but it's overkill. For example, people would go and stand on a Bosu ball and do squats. But meanwhile, that same person can't even do a simple squat standing on the floor. Why would they go on an unbalanced surface if they can't even plant their feet and squat on a leveled surface? It doesn't make any sense. But in that person's mind, that person thinks that it is cool and more effective because it's harder. But simple and effective is what is key. Understanding your how your body behaves, how your body moves correctly is key, and that is something that we educate our clients on. Proper biomechanics, slowing down on the movements, understanding the neuromuscular control. Um, certain those things. Technique is often overlooked, and it's simple things. Bracing your core when squatting, deadlifting. Um, you know, Doing upper body exercises, bracing your core is important. But a lot of people don't know that because they they don't nobody teaches them this, and they don't they don't understand it, and then they wonder why their back hurts when they squat or when they deadlift. That's those are the reason, and it's really simple. you know and then a lot of clients ask me, well, Eugene, why do you charge so much? You're expensive. I'm expensive because that little simple thing of learning how to brace your core can help you with your lower back pain when squatting, when deadlifting, right? But just that one simple thing is the reason why I'm expensive, because nobody's going to teach you that. Right? So
Yeah,
there you go.
yeah, that's true. I think those are all very simple tips, folks, just to go out there and make sure that, like people have always said, keep it simple. KISS, keep it simple, stupid, if you will, right? But keep it simple nonetheless. So I appreciate that, Eugene. Any final tips you want to share with the listeners about your practice, Vital Rehab, or about PT in general, about weightlifting in general, or any other tips you want to share with the audience at this time?
It's I think as we get older as individuals, we tend to put a bigger burden on ourselves. We have to take care of our family. We have to work more. If people just find the time to exercise and lift weights, their lifestyle will improve dramatically. And a lot of people don't really notice, but every decade after 30, the muscle cells in your musculoskeletal system actually decrease if you don't lift weights. And this is why people get hurt 40, 50, 60 years old. Majority of my clients are in that range. And this is why. And all it takes is just correcting their biomechanics. So go out there, lift weights, be more active, be more today, as they say.
Yeah, they do say that. Dr. Eugene, thank you so much. I appreciate you so much for taking this time. I know it's Passover. I know you're chilling right now in Miami, but I appreciate you. And I just want people to know where they can follow you on social media or otherwise. Where can they follow you?
Yes, so on Instagram at Vital Performance PT, the same on my website, Vital Performance PT. And yeah, those, they can check out my website. I also have YouTube. They can follow me. I post client testimonial videos. I post some educational videos. So yeah, all those websites.
Awesome. Appreciate you so much. Thank you so much, Doc. You made episode 91 one for the books. And I look forward to maybe playing ball with you soon or having our daughters hang out at some point in time. I would greatly appreciate that.
Awesome. Yeah, Dr. Sean, it was a pleasure. Thank you.
No problem. Folks, do not forget the quote from today. What is often called exceptional ability is nothing more than persistent endeavor. Dr. Eugene said it best. He's been through a lot, just trying to really build this brand, but he knew and knows what he wanted to do, the clientele he wanted to work with, the modalities he wanted to use, and the program he wanted to really put out there for the world. And he's doing that as a practice owner, as a clinician, as a future of the profession. I'm just proud of him. And if you're someone who's like him, trying to go out there and just be different, be more, take his words seriously. Go out there and do not be afraid. Take that leap. Do not be afraid to go out there and make your health and wellness a priority. You know, those simple things that can really keep us out of the pain-free world and the injury world are the things we do every single day. So go out there, get those workouts in, lift those weights, and let's continue to make our lives vital and to be more today, as he said. As always, folks, you can visit us at beMoreToday.com for my book, our swag store, the podcast. As always, subscribe. If you want to send me any thoughts or questions for Dr. Eugene, you can email me directly at drshawn@beMoreToday.com. As I always say, folks, have a good day, have a good night, have a great life, and continue to take your steps to greatness to be the best version of you. We'll see you next week.